by Sam Alito. I think Stevens was always the first to say he didn't change that much on the court. The court pivoted around him, and what was once sort of far left liberal disappears. The moderates become the wingnut lefties, and the right becomes a right that has never been contemplated in his lifetime on the court.
Dahlia, we could do this for the rest of the night, I think, but I'll just give you one opportunity to do it with as much brevity as you think is appropriate. Who do you think he's going to nominate? Who do you think who should be considered to be on the short list?
You know, it's whether Obama has the stomach for a big fight or a little fight, Rachel, and I don't know the contents of Obama's stomach. I think if he wants a little fight, Merrick Garland on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals is a very well-respected, smart, moderate liberal. The right has already signaled that they have no problem with him. If he wants a medium fight, Elena Kagan, his Solicitor General, it'll be a medium fight. She'll get confirmed. If he wants a big fight, he can take Diane Wood from the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, Pam Karlan, Kathleen Sullivan, Harold Koh. There's a long list.
You posted a comment at Slate today from Stephen Bright, Center for Human Rights, suggesting Brian Stevenson at the Equal Justice Initiative. Those guys, I have to say, just personally, are two of my heroes. Would that be the biggest fight ever?
I think that would be one of the biggest fights ever. I suspect a Pam Karlan or a Kathleen Sullivan might be on that same Richter scale.
I hear you. Dahlia Lithwick, senior editor and legal correspondent for Slate.com. Thank you for your time tonight. I hope we can sign you up for a lot more of it in the coming weeks as we continue to talk about this nomination.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
The bright, glaring light you've been noticing from the southern sky these past couple of days, that shine from the south, it's because all of the brightest stars of the Republican firmament have been in constellation in New Orleans, and they will be throughout the weekend. It's technically the Southern Republican Leadership Conference, but what it really is a chance for the Republican Party to find its voice, to decide in what language and what tone and under whose leadership the Republican Party will challenge President Obama in 2012. Now, in practice, that means all the potential Republican candidates for 2012 are trying out their applause lines. It all started last night with professional potential candidate Newt Gingrich trying to hit the sweet spot between his new Newt bored professor persona and his old familiar Newt persona, which was always more like a screaming man on a street corner threatening to hit you with his misspelled sign.
This is the most radical administration in American history. And I began to realize after a year of watching them that if you think about the group that meets together in the White House, their experience is the machine politics of Chicago, the corruption of Springfield, and the radicalism of Alinsky. And it comes together in a format, and then they meet with their two colleagues, Pelosi and Reid, and you have a perfect, unrepresentative left-wing machine dedicated to a secular socialist future.
Most radical? Actually, I think I stand corrected here. I don't actually think Newt Gingrich here was either the professor or the angry man with the misspelled sign here. I think that former House Speaker Newt Gingrich might now be trying out a new role, the role of angry commenter on right-wing blog. OMG, OMG, Alinsky, Chicago machine, Pelosi, LOL, rolling on the floor, laughing MAO, OMG, ZOMG, Alinsky. Today, the suddenly ubiquitous Sarah Palin took the podium also. People reportedly waited in line 2 hours to see this speech.
What's wrong with being the party of no? We will oppose it. Or better said by the good governor of this state, he said, party of no? Nah, we're the party of hell no.
See, if this is how it's going to be, the lead up to the November elections is going to be way more fun than I thought it was going to be. It will at least be way more simple.
Hell no, you can't!
Yes, we can.
Hell no, you can't!
Yes, we can.
What's wrong with being the party of no?
Yes, we can.
Nah, we're the party of hell no.
Yes, we can.
It's hard to believe this is how they want the next election to be set up, but they're really going for it. She got huge applause for that. Governor Palin also got huge applause for her best lines on energy.
And now we're going to study more study of the South Atlantic and parts of the Gulf of Mexico and a couple of other areas that, my goodness, folks, these areas have been studied to death. Let's send the White House this message that, no, we can save taxpayer time, save money, and announce there is oil and gas down there, and we can produce it safely and responsibly. We don't need more studies. We need more action.
No more studying. No more. Stop with the studying and the. Just act. Stop with the learning and the gosh darn studying and the reading all the time and the figuring. You're always trying to figure stuff out. Just do something. Do anything. Just randomly do stuff. Stop thinking about it.
Because energy produced in America is security for America. And it is jobs for American workers, jobs that can't be outsourced. Let's drill, baby, drill, not stall, baby, stall.
Now, if this part is confusing to you, you are forgiven for that, because didn't President Obama just make an announcement that he was ending the decades-old offshore drilling ban, thus prompting every news outlet in the country to run the same brilliant and hilarious headline about how Obama was a new convert to the whole drill, baby, drill idea?
Today, we're announcing the expansion of offshore oil and gas exploration.
I thought, yes. Isn't Obama actually a drill, baby, drill guy now? Yes, he is. Remember all the dumb punditry about how that move of his would make Republicans nod in agreement and side with him on energy policy? Yeah, that didn't happen. President Obama may be drilling now, for sure, but according to Sarah Palin, he's not drilling fast enough.
Let's drill, baby, drill, not stall, baby, stall.
Of course, it is possible that maybe she just wanted to say baby again. Joining us now is Dave Weigel, reporting now for the Washington Post. He's covering the Republican conference in New Orleans, and he joins us live from there now. Dave, thanks very much for your time. Hope you're having a good time down there.
I am. I didn't realize how much Pink Floyd, We Don't Need No Education there was in that Palin speech until you played it back. I'm having a great time.
Did Newt Gingrich really enter the hall to the strains of Eye of the Tiger?
He entered the hall walking slowly to the strains of Eye of the Tiger, working the crowd for 2 minutes. And then he made reference to how he was a historian, a teacher, and the author of several books, and a documentary producer. And I think his argument was that Obama was being too arrogant.
Ah, I understand. Not mentioning the whole ousted by his own party as former Speaker of the House. Are we hearing the loudest cheers at this event for the harshest rhetoric? We think about this as the Republican Party trying to find their voice. Are you getting any sense of what this new voice is?
Well, it's similar to the voice you've been hearing for months. It's similar to the voice of the Tea Parties, really. It's identical. It's still very focused on economics. And one thing that struck me is there was no mention from the stage. There weren't too many speeches, but no mention from the stage of Bart Stupak's retirement. No mention from the stage of John Paul Stevens' retirement. So they're still very focused on this idea that Gingrich, I think, articulated pretty well, that Obama poses this secular socialist threat to America. That's the argument. It's eschatological. It's not issue by issue.
Is there, you mentioned no mention of Bart Stupak retiring, no mention of John Paul Stevens retiring. They are in New Orleans. Has there been significant mention of Hurricane Katrina?
Actually, none, no. And there are people sporting George W. Bush buttons and some of those shirts copied from billboards that say, "Do you miss me yet?" with Bush's face on it, which is not the least offensive shirt you could wear in New Orleans. But, I mean, there's an argument here that's made by a lot of Republicans that anytime Democrats try to bring up George Bush, they're just excusing Barack Obama's mistakes. And, you know, if you can say it here, you can say it anywhere.
Yeah. Last question for you, Dave. The main internal Republican Party news and drama that we've been focusing on for the past few weeks has been, of course, over Michael Steele and his sort of troubled chairmanship as head of the RNC. How is Michael Steele faring at this event?
He's faring pretty well. I mean, you don't hear a lot of rabid fans. You actually heard people, and I talked to people who think Sarah Palin should replace him as RNC chairman. But the people who have the power to do this, the members of the RNC, they don't like talking about it. They're not going to get rid of him. It's 58 of them have signed a letter saying they want him to stay, and you would need all but 56 to vote for removing him. So technically, if they all stand by their word and there's no replacements, he's safe. And when he shows up tomorrow, there's some anticipation about it. I'd be surprised if he was booed. I mean, this is a crowd that believes any attack on a member of the party is a distraction created by people like, I don't know, you and me, for example. and they're not going to pile on. They're not going to pile on Michael Steele. It's unfortunate that for them that the North Carolina Party chairman went after him this week. But I mean, I talked to one other member who criticized him and told him to resign. That's it so far.
Dave Weigel, reporter for The Washington Post, having a very good time in New Orleans. I can see it on your face. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.